Paleontology. Yeah, that's my next doctorate in paleontology. Just give it to me, because I am actually paleontological, if there is such a word. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. Wilbon has a day off. I am joined by our great friend, the host of the podcast, Pablo Torre. Finds out Mr. Pablo Torre. And we begin today with the Dodgers getting a complete game 3-hitter from Yoshinobu Yamamoto last night to beat the Brewers 5-1 and take a 2-0 lead in the NLCS. Yamamoto gave up a first-pitch home run to Jackson Chourio and then just 2 more singles in the next 8 innings. The Brewers never had a single runner in scoring position. Pablo, what do you think of what the Dodgers are doing and how they are doing it?
Tony, we begin by joking about how old you are, but this first topic makes me feel like I'm watching my childhood. We're getting complete games in the playoffs. Yep. We have a Haas. We have a series full of Haas's, of aces, of guys who will do the thing that we haven't seen since, I believe, Justin Verlander in 2017, throw a complete game in the playoffs.
Complete game.
To go back to, I believe, the last time this happened with 2 starters this good over 8 innings, we're going back to 83, I believe, 1983. It's a delight. I was told that baseball that in fact, the thing that had gone extinct, gone the way of the dinosaur, was this type of person. And so I want to make fun of the Dodgers for having, Japan as their farm system. That's why Yamamoto is this way. But they got a staff full of these guys. Glasnow coming up can do exactly this too.
So I want to go backwards first. You remember when the Seattle kid in Game 1 against Toronto, the first pitch he threw, and George Springer, boom, parked it in the seats. And you looked at that game and you said, oh, whoa, Toronto is going to do to Seattle what Toronto did to the Yankees, 34 runs in 4 games. And that did not happen. It did not happen. No. So last night is deja vu all over again, as Yogi would say, because it's a first pitch home run, and then after that, there is nothing. Milwaukee doesn't get anything after that. The Dodgers starters have now gone in this series 17 innings, given up 4 hits.
Crazy. And
struck out 17. As you say, I hadn't seen a complete game like this, in 8 years. The Dodgers starters ERA right now is 154. They're built for this. I understand Milwaukee beat them in the regular season 6-0. I understand in the regular season Milwaukee had the most wins, 97. This is not the regular season. The Dodgers are built for this. They understand that they don't really have relievers, so they say to the starters, keep going. You know what else, Pablo? They've become something we haven't seen in I don't know when. A likable rich team, because they spend money on the right people in the right way. They collect active people, not old people who are past their prime. They know what they're doing.
Well, I'll leave the obvious joke here aside that you just alley-ooped to me. I will merely comment that the Dodgers are doing the thing that, when I was growing up, the Yankees are the last team that I saw do. Right now, especially impressive is the fact that the postseason, as you know, Tony, as a huge baseball fan, is a roulette wheel. How do you keep the roulette wheel from spinning wildly out of control? You use your arms. The arms the Dodgers have wrested control of chaos in a time of, relief starters. It's just a crazy time in baseball. They bring us back to a time resembling sanity and likability despite the expense. But you mentioned, I suppose, the ALCS. That resumes tonight in Seattle, and the Mariners, of course, won both games in Toronto. Mariners have never been to a World Series, Tony, we know that. They're up 2-0 now with the next 2 at home, so does this accomplishment, making the World Series, feel inevitable to you?
Not inevitable. There is a small window that you can look through. There have been 3 teams in a 7-game playoff series that have lost the first 2 at home and still gone on to win. 3 teams out of the 28 that occurred to since 1914. And it's World Series teams because there never used to be an LCS. So there's the 85 Royals, there's the 86 Mets, there's the 96 Yankees. But so far, Seattle has been decisively better than Toronto. I have some numbers here that I think are pretty good. They've outscored the Blue Jays 13-4. They've out-homered the Blue Jays 4-2. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 17-8, and the best Blue Jay player, Vlad Guerrero Jr., is 0-7. So maybe he shouldn't have taken so much delight in saying, the Yankees lose. Him and Big Papi. yucking it up. Maybe that doesn't feel good now because their team now has a batting average of 131 in this series.
Yeah, the Mariners, to me, are the most conventionally likable team available to us. He talked about the Dodgers being shockingly likable because of all of their payroll. The Mariners have all of the makings of the true underdog. And the only problem that keeps me from inevitability, and to me, of course, there are really just three things that are inevitable in life. It is death, taxes, and Mike Wilbon taking off random Wednesdays at PTI in the fall. Short of that, yeah, it's hard. I mean, look, I watched the Yankees lose to the Red Sox with a giant lead, Tony. Like, I've seen 3-1 leads get blown. I've seen things. It's a closer series than I think the outcomes have suggested. And I just caution that if there is a burial ground that is cursing this Mariners team, it's not quite over yet. That's the bar for inevitability.
No, it's not quite over. I will say this. I had occasion to be in Seattle for football games where the crowds were, it's the loudest outdoor crowd I'd ever heard. And I expect sort of the same from baseball. I mean, they all know they haven't been to the World Series. They're all going to try and help. Let's jump into college football here. The story of the season off the field so far has been the firing of coaches. James Franklin is one of 7 coaches fired from a big program before the halfway point in the season. The biggest story on the field so far is Indiana. They're 6-0 and coming out of a huge road win over number 3 Oregon. Indiana coach Curt Cignetti is the hot name now. Pablo, do you think he's more likely to stay at Indiana or leave for an historically bigger program?
I think he's going to stay, and I think it's the right move to stay, and I would not have said this 5 years ago. College football is different. We know this. We are frustrated by it because the influx of money in a fake free market has changed things. But the point is, Indiana, which gets those Big Ten checks, they also are spending like they're an SEC school. They got a president who, the stop before last, was at Georgia. They have a staff in terms of the assistants and expenditures, Tony, that they've doubled in expenses as they've renewed Cignetti. And Cignetti, by the way, is paid like a top 5 coach in the conference. So the question is, will you compete for players because there's a market? Will you compete for coaches because there's a market? Will you compete like you're a school above your station? The answer to all of that seems to be yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people believe that there's going to be a pillow fight between Cignetti and Matt Rule to see who gets the Penn State job. But I'm going to agree with you to this extent. I think it is so romantic to think that Curt Cignetti would stay there and build this into a juggernaut because Indiana has the most losses all time of any college football program. And he gets there from James Madison, a school that nobody outside the Washington, D.C. area or Richmond, Virginia knows where it is. And he brings a bunch of kids with him. And in less than 2 years, they're number 3 in the country. That's absolutely amazing to me. Cignetti knows what it is like to coach at a big school. He was an assistant to Nick Saban at Alabama. If he thinks he can do it at Indiana, they could name the field after him, and the romance of that may actually get to him. Let's take a break if we could. Coming up, 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers faces 40-year-old Joe Flacco tomorrow. We're going to ask Steve Young about that.
We'll also ask him about Patrick Mahomes running more than ever.
The Dodgers spend money wisely. Look at who they get. They trade for Mookie Betts. They sign free. We have some NFL questions for our great friend, the man who actually did something Pablo bailed on, went to law school. Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young. Let us start with this. 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers and 40-year-old Joe Flacco will play against each other on Thursday night on a short week. It has been referred to as the Icy Hot Bowl or the AARP Bowl. When you watch two guys in their 40s starting at quarterback in the NFL against each other, you think what?
Tony, I think this is super important because I think about two people that learned the game in a more sophisticated era. And people go, when was that, Steve? That was before the rule changes for safety. People don't realize the difference in the game that happened when they didn't allow defenders to launch their head first into and cover more ground more quickly. And they also restrict